All right, let's just dive right into this explainer. Welcome to AI Automation in Finance, where we're going to figure out how you actually scale from using simple little AI agents to orchestrating massive, complex workflows. Look, if you've been following the industry, you know we're standing at a pretty major crossroads right now. Today, we're going to take you from the absolute drudgery of manual data entry all the way to building fully scalable automated systems. And the best part? We're going to break down how you deploy these things without needing a computer science degree.
So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to kick things off with the finance automation era. Then we'll compare AI agents versus workflows. After that, we'll dive into some real-world finance use cases, check out scaling with data APIs, reveal a pretty awesome free LLM loophole, and finally, wrap things up with your AI adoption roadmap. Let's get to it.
Starting off with Section 1, the finance automation era. To really grasp why this shift is happening, we've got to look at the massive, glaring pain points in modern accounting and finance operations right now. These are issues being heavily exacerbated by a massive global labor shortage, which, is something being felt in accounting hubs literally everywhere.
Consider the reality of this situation. As an audit partner highlighted in our source material, up to 60%, yes, 60% of a finance team's time is lost just eyeballing data. We're talking messing with endless, broken VLOOKUPs, because we all know how fragile those spreadsheet formulas are, right? And compiling manual reconciliation reports. Just picture your team on a Friday afternoon completely bogged down. Firms are really struggling to hire junior staff for this mind-numbing data input. Whether it's typing up physical receipts or manually cross-checking purchase orders against invoices and three-way validation matches across all these scattered legacy platforms, it's a mess.
Which brings us to Section 2, AI agents versus workflows. Let's see how we actually solve these pain points by looking at the two major approaches you can take with AI. Understanding the difference between these two is absolutely crucial if you want to scale your operations effectively.
There is a brilliant analogy here from an experienced audit partner, Chan Wake Jen. He points out that interacting with an AI agent using natural language is basically just like delegating an unstructured task to a junior intern. You give them a prompt, you set up some basic guardrails, and you let them figure out the reasoning. It's super accessible, right? It requires almost zero learning curve to just jump in and get started.
But here's the direct contrast you need to understand. On one hand, dynamic agents are fantastic for handling unstructured prompts, like, say, asking an AI to pull data from a completely messy PDF, but they can get incredibly costly and honestly a bit unpredictable at scale. On the other hand, we have deterministic workflows. These are built on automation platforms like NA10, and they map out exact step-by-step logic. Sure, they have a steeper learning curve, but they give you highly structured outputs, detailed execution logs for auditability, and they cost just a fraction of the price when you're processing thousands of transactions. It's a night and day difference when you scale up.
Let's move on to Section 3, real-world finance use cases. Because the really crucial point is applying all this theory, right? Let's talk about some tangible examples that bridge the gap, bringing together the dynamic reasoning of AI agents and the rock-solid reliability of structured workflows.
Okay, let's explore a simple automated OCR, or optical character recognition workflow. This completely eliminates manual data entry. Imagine someone uploading a crumpled-up cafe receipt through a basic web form. The workflow intercepts it, hands it off to an AI model like Gemini or Claude that's specifically prompted to act as an information extractor. The AI easily pulls out the date, the amount, and the vendor name, formatting it perfectly. Then, the workflow pushes that parsed data straight into your Google Sheets or directly into your accounting software via an API. It is seamless, instantaneous, and highly accurate.
But what if we move up in complexity? Well, we can actually orchestrate a whole multi-agent system to tackle massive analytical tasks. In this workflow template, you've got an AI persona acting as a senior research analyst. It ingests a massive 100-page SEC 10K annual report and plans out a structure. Then, it delegates the heavy lifting to a squad of 5 AI research analysts. Finally, a senior editor AI reviews all their work and compiles it into a highly structured SWOT analysis. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, alongside a near-term catalyst report. We are talking about replicating hours of intense human analysis in literally a matter of seconds.
Of course, an AI is really only as good as the data it has access to, which brings us perfectly to Section 4, scaling with data APIs.
You can seriously supercharge your workflows using data scraping tools like Apify to automatically pull in real-time structured info. For instance, you could pull Vader Market Sentiment Scores, which is basically a metric that measures the positive or negative tone of news articles, straight from Yahoo News.
Or you could grab live price-to-earnings ratios and market caps directly from the SEC Edgar database. By plugging these APIs right into your workflow, your AI agents aren't just reasoning in a vacuum anymore. They're making dynamic assessments based on up-to-the-minute live market data and feeding that directly into your custom financial dashboards. It's an absolute game changer.
But we do need to address the elephant in the room. As you scale all of this up, the costs can balloon really quickly, which leads us to Section 5, the free LLM loophole. $200. That number, right there, is the monthly cost of the Claude Max 20X plan per user. If you're a heavy corporate user orchestrating complex coding tasks or massive data extractions every single day, hitting those rate limits and facing these steep subscription fees becomes a massive potential expense.
So, naturally, this begs a pretty huge question. Is there a way to harness these incredibly powerful coding agents without blowing your entire IT budget? Well, surprisingly, the answer is yes. It involves a clever shift in how we route our AI requests, using an incredible workaround that the developer community recently discovered. By utilizing what's called the Open Router loophole, you can bypass official Anthropic billing completely for those simpler tasks. Here's how the magic works. First, you install Claude Code locally using your computer's terminal. Then, you generate a free API key from Open Router, and you dive into your hidden .claude configuration folder to tweak the settings.json file. By setting the environment variable to use the Open Router free models router, the system smartly filters and routes your requests to available free open-source models at random. It literally unlocks automated coding assistance completely for free. Now sure, the quality might not perfectly match the premium models for highly complex reasoning, but for generating boilerplate code, whipping up simple HTML dashboards, or running basic automations on a budget, it is an absolutely unbeatable solution. Let's bring this all together with our final section, Section 6, your AI adoption roadmap. Because theory and loopholes are great, but how do you actually implement this stuff safely in your own firm?
The evolution of the modern accountant really happens across 3 distinct phases. You definitely don't want to automate everything on day 1. In phase 1, you start conversational. Use AI agents as your interns for drafting emails or summarizing loose, unstructured data. Get a feel for it. Once a process is proven and you realize it's highly repetitive, like that cafe receipt example from earlier, you move to phase 2. That's where you lock it into a deterministic workflow for ultimate reliability and scale. Finally, phase 3 is where you truly hit scale. That's when you start orchestrating custom internal apps and live dashboards, actually using AI to generate the underlying code for you.
But remember, as you implement this evolution, safety has to be paramount. Always start with a human in the loop to validate what the AI extracts against your manual ledger. You want to keep your rigid tasks, like three-way matching, inside strict code-based workflows rather than relying on an AI's reasoning, which, let's face it, can sometimes hallucinate. And this is critical. Set up real-time error monitoring. Workflows can actually be designed to instantly ping your IT team on platforms like WhatsApp if a data extraction fails. That ensures compliance and immediate incident response. And of course, always get your cybersecurity team to clear any local AI installations or API integrations before you roll them out. Ultimately, the tools are here, the data scrapers are ready, and the barrier to entry, both in terms of cost and technical skill, is lower than it has ever been. The modern finance role is rapidly shifting away from manual data entry and moving toward strategic data orchestration. So I'll leave you with this. Will you remain bogged down by manual entry, or how will you redefine your role in the finance automation era? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I highly encourage